Welcome to Eventful Endeavors, secrets to crafting the perfect celebration. If you're planning an event and looking for useful tips from industry experts, you're in the right place. So get ready to take some notes and we'll dive right in. This is Eventful Endeavors.
Welcome, everyone, to Eventful Endeavors. My name is Katie Louise. I am here with Diana from Hummingbird Hall. Diana, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so Diana, you and I met a couple weeks ago, and you told me a little bit about your story, but start from the beginning for our listeners. Tell us how you became the owner of Hummingbird Hall and just how it all happened.
Well, I definitely didn't set out to buy a wedding venue. It's never part of the plan, but I happen to own a building, a duplex that's next door to the Hummingbird Hall, the current Hummingbird Hall. At the time, it was the Springdale Bible Chapel that went up for sale. And I've always been really into the era of the building as far as I always was charmed by old schoolhouses, and it just had this really beautiful look. So I decided to go check it out, and I went in, and it was just an amazing feeling, and it was so beautiful, even with its 80s industrial carpet and pews and everything. It just like felt awesome in there. And
I remember you saying that even though you're not like maybe necessarily religious person, you felt like a spiritualness when you walked in.
I did. Yeah, it was totally, I walked in and it just like was kind of overwhelmed, I guess, with feeling what I think probably people feel when they're in a space like that for religious purposes. It was just, my grandma had passed recently, and the decor in the building also, I mean, the building itself was beautiful, but there was also all the church decor was still up, and there were all these posters of hummingbirds, and she'd always told my sister like she was coming back as a hummingbird, and so
that's where you got the name.
The name's half that, and the hall part is so it used to, when the building was originally erected for the community, they named it Gospel Hall, and
Okay.
then they changed it later to Springdale Bible Chapel, and so the hall part was a nod to its past, and the hummingbird was a nod to Granny. So, and I just thought it sounded delightful.
No, and it has
Yeah.
like a nice, like, what do they call it? Alliteration to it, Hummingbird
Yeah.
Hall.
Yes.
That's so cool. So I'm pulling up pictures again to remind myself of it. But so when you walked in, you said there were like pictures of hummingbirds?
Yeah, so they had like I kept them all. They're kind of, I mean, they're a little bit cheesy. They're like motivational poster, like the cat, hanging in there kind of posters.
Oh,
But
interesting.
but they had these missionary boards with just, I mean, for lack of a better word, kind of just like cheesy little hummingbird pictures with pleasant things posted on
Yeah.
them, and just kind of like, fake flowers, and just really like cutesy little decor, like butterflies and hummingbirds. So they were
That's so cute.
everywhere.
I love that it's like a nod to your grandma. That's like my
Yeah.
favorite part. I don't think you told me that on the phone the other day, so that's really
Yeah.
cool.
It is.
And it's a really beautiful like image for weddings as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in this space, like how big is the chapel space? Is it big enough for like a wedding and a reception, or like a ceremony and a reception?
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm trying to lean into the idea of micro weddings more, but I currently like 100 people is what I tell people if they're going to be there. Don't have more than 100 people, because it has 2 bathrooms, and the limitations that come with that. But so the main sanctuary area, which is to me the most beautiful part of it, is the original chapel portion of it. A lot of people do their ceremony there and then flip it for the dancing and stuff. But there's also a lower level where you can do food or eating or whatever, and there's a backyard too. And they're all kind of equally sized, really. They're pretty similar. They're each about 1,000 square feet. of just
Oh,
kind of
cool.
open space. So the exterior yard and the main sanctuary people use pretty interchangeably for ceremonies or for dancing, partying type stuff. But they're the more charming, aesthetically pleasing spaces. And then the lower level, the daylight basement is great. It's really functional. That's where our kitchenette and the bathrooms are, and it's a nice place to escape the heat if it's cool or if it's too hot outside. It's really cool in there. So people do their like buffets or catering in that area a lot of the time. So definitely it's set up really well for whether it's, weather permitting or not, to have
Yeah.
both the ceremony and reception in separate spaces.
Do you have some brides that want to have some stuff going on outside, but then they like the backup of having shelter if something goes wrong, especially in Oregon, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, because really the weather, it's very hard to predict even in
Yeah.
the predictable months. It's not predictable. I mean, we had a
Yeah.
wedding in the middle of June last year where they had this outdoor stuff planned and just torrential downpour. So luckily her guest count was small enough that they just moved inside.
Yeah.
But it is nice because even if it's beautiful outside, sometimes it's just nice to not be outside. And but
Yeah.
if it's an option, it's really, I think
I
it's a
feel
great
like it's so
flexible
important
thing.
to have that excuse me, because I've worked with people before where like they don't have an option, and it's like
Yeah,
it's scary, you never
yeah.
know. That's so cool. So these I'm looking at these pictures online, and anyone who wants to see the venue, you should she has a beautiful gallery online of all the spaces here. I'm looking at these pews. So do you still have the original pews in the hall?
Sadly, no. The pews that you see in the picture are a vendor in Boring that has just the most perfect set of pews for matching with us. They're definitely the same era and they fit perfectly well. But original pews, I only have well, I don't even know if it is actually one, but I have one that I believe was an original, but the others had been updated in, I would guess, in the 80s when the beautiful industrial carpet was put in, or the 70s or something. They were not lovely, but also, they were 13, they were giant, and I came in one day and they were all gone. So I was like, "Okay, perfect. New, fresh life here."
So you mentioned it really briefly earlier, but you own a property on like the same like the lot next door basically?
Yes,
And it's a
the neighboring property.
it's a duplex and you have it rented out, right?
Yes, that's correct.
You have tenants in both upstairs and downstairs?
It's a side by side, but yes,
Oh, okay,
they're
gotcha.
both there, but it's kind of outliving its utility for modern full-time tenants. So the future of that, is I truly hope to make that into like a space where something like an Airbnb that really functions as a dedicated bridal suite.
Yeah.
And it'll be nice. I hope it'll be nice because it's got an interesting layout, not so much for living full time, but for a bridal suite because it's got this great big mud room that I think would just be perfect as like a vanity station. It has, a full kitchen and bathroom and a laundry room because
Yeah.
it's an apartment. So I think it could be a really convenient addition because currently we just have, the space we have is, call it small but exquisite, our venue. It's not set up with all the modern conveniences because it is 1914.
Right.
But yeah, I think it would be nice to add
You mentioned
that
Airbnb. Are you
feature.
thinking like you'd Airbnb it when you don't need it as a bridal suite?
Probably.
That's
I
such a great
mean,
idea.
yeah, I mean to try and like recoup whatever,
Yeah,
but
no, for
it's
sure.
yeah. I mean, but as far as the decor goes, I'm still deciding how to do that, but it might I don't know. I'm really into like the moody, like I love Joanna Gaines. She's my spirit animal if she would let me have her as a spirit animal. Just those like moody colors that she's doing these days. But at the same time, I know a lot of brides are into the light, airy stuff. So it's like
Well, I wonder if
my
you can
heart.
even like Airbnb it out to your brides. Like let
Oh, I
your
absolutely
brides
would. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
just
That would be for sure like a place to for anyone, for the couple or whoever to like escape or spend the night after a fun night of
yeah. And it seems like a
celebrating.
somewhat I mean, from what I see online, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like a somewhat secluded venue. Like you've got a lot of trees and
It's I mean, I would say yes and no. It's on the historic Columbia River Highway, and it is directly on the historic Columbia River Highway. That being said, it's for sure rural. Our backyard is fully fenced, so it's not, it's secluded in that way. I mean, there's nobody else is coming on the property when you're there. No one should be coming on
Yeah.
the property when you're there. And same for the neighboring property. It's the duplex is kind of set back from the road, so a little bit of privacy there.
When you walked into the chapel and you were thinking about buying it, like, did you know immediately you wanted it to be a wedding venue, or were you not sure?
I didn't think that. My first feeling was purely emotional, like, and actually most of them after that were purely emotional, not logical either. But it was a feeling of like, so Corbett's where it is a small community. It's a really tight knit community. And at the time, and still, I have younger kids, and they were even younger then, and there wasn't a ton of stuff to do. There still isn't. And it was kind of like the end of COVID type time when we bought. It wasn't the end. We were in COVID, but it was, we were getting used to it, I guess. And it was just the idea that I wanted it to be a space where people could come for the same kind of reasons that they would have come to church, but like fulfilling and community building and those reasons where they'd walk in and feel like taken care of was really was really what I was hoping for, and it's definitely got to do a lot of that, and I want it to do even more of that. But then it's just a perfect space for weddings. It's been a setting for weddings for over 100 years, and yeah, I just think filling it with love is a good way to honor it and
Do you do other
benefit from it.
types of events besides weddings?
Yeah, definitely. Me personally, not so much, but the doors are open. We have a lot of kid-friendly events, and we've had some adult stuff too. I was pretty focused on the kids stuff for a while when my kids were younger, and not that they're old people now; they're still
How old
younger,
are
but
your
they're not,
kids?
they're 9 and 11,
Mm,
so
nice.
they're just not as like excited about doing craft
What kind
type
of what kind of
events.
like craft events? I was gonna ask what kind of like kid events.
Yeah, things like that. I mean, we had a father-daughter dance, and we've had, like, Galentine's parties that are kid-focused, sleepovers with tents and things like that, tea parties.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so fun.
yeah, it
Was
was
that
pretty
like
cool.
a way to like generate like revenue for you? Like
No,
I was
definitely
I
not.
was like, are people
No.
paying for or just like more like community outreach
Yeah, I mean,
stuff?
most of them are paid. We have like an annual free cocoa and carols Christmas event for the community. That's probably my favorite thing that we
Oh,
do. But most of them are paid. They're put on by other people. But I definitely know they aren't making a ton of money. I'm not making any money. It really is just like to honor the space, like and have fun with it. Because like I said, there's
yeah.
not there's not a lot of the schools and the other church. There's other churches there, but just the more
Well,
events for
hopefully like
families, the better.
a way to advertise for the space too, as people come in and you know,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know that you do like weddings. I would think like almost birthday parties too, like if
Yeah,
anyone just wants to set up their own thing.
yeah,
I do you get requests for like any like private parties or anything like baby showers or
yeah. Me personally, less of that because I don't do a ton of outreach. Really, a little bit of outreach for that, but not much. But there's a few planners that are kid focused, and they do some really cool like baby showers and birthday parties, and I mean they're beautiful, like Pinterest,
yeah.
Instagram style stuff.
Well, and it seems like kind of a cool space where you could like do whatever you want with it, like
Yeah,
almost like a blank canvas.
that's what it is. It's a blank canvas. I mean, there's no trampolines or anything there for kids,
Yeah,
and we don't have catering or alcohol, or it's just a space to make your own.
right. When you bought the space originally, so who did you like, if you don't mind me asking, who did you buy it from? Like, was it a group of people? Was it a single owner? Was it a church organization?
The church was still operating, that had been operating since 1914. So that's who I bought it from. There were only 6 congregants left. They were really hit by COVID because it's a small community to begin with. It was smaller congregation, just an aging congregation, and only 6 people were left at the time. There's less of them even now, and I'd talked with them about, you can absolutely stay and continue doing your thing, but they were done. It was time for them to move on and scatter. So
Yeah.
this is the next life. Yeah.
So do they all have like equal ownership in the land,
That
or?
part, no, no. Like the church, the entity owned it. So the congregants were just participants in it. So it
Yeah.
was an entity that I don't know if it exists anymore. I assume it didn't. I think, and this is not like my expertise, I think when a church disbands like that, they typically donate whatever is remaining to another congregation.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's very interesting.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. Well, let's talk about some like more wedding stuff. So,
Sure.
how many events do you do like on average a month?
It's growing. I would say like 2.5 currently, trending towards like 4, which is what I really want to do. Like
Right.
4 to 6 is like 4 to 6 weddings is really where I hope to like live and
Yeah.
for my own sanity as well as
And you're still
financial.
fairly new at this because
Yeah.
you said you only owned it for, was it 3 years?
We've owned it for 4,
Okay.
and I and we did renovations for about a year on
So you've
it.
been
Not that.
operating like or open for 3.
Yes. And starting in up until December, I wasn't managing it myself, or I wasn't the face really. And starting in December is when since December is I've been like all the hats. And so I feel now this last December to now is really our newest iteration, and it seems to be working pretty well as far as like growth and things like that. I have just more of my finger on the pulse of actually what's working and what's not.
Right. Well, when we talked before, you said that you had found like a fantastic manager,
Hmm.
right? And then
Yes.
she had to go, or
She retired.
she
Yeah.
retired,
How dare she?
and you really struggled to find somebody as good as her, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So she was one of my childhood friends growing up. She's still her mom, and she'd been in wedding planning for a long time. And she got me off the ground with so many things. I had no experience, none. I still have barely any. And she had lots of experience, and I just trusted her wholeheartedly because I've known her my whole life. And yeah, she was great. And then it just started getting like kind of snowballing a little bit. And she was like, I'm retiring. Like, I can't, she
Too
didn't
much
want to.
work, yeah.
Yeah, she was more, she didn't want to do planning anymore so much. And she was kind of being a venue manager for me, and it was wonderful. And she still helps me a lot. But she was just, yeah, ready to do more road trips and, gardening and things and less work.
Work. So, my question for you, because I know you said you tried out a couple of different people and you were interviewing people, and then you were like, "Let me just do this myself."
Hmm.
What was that quality that you were looking for in a manager that was so difficult to find?
It was not. The one that I think was the most difficult to find was the one that I found, which was a personality that I thought was awesome. Because I do think that is a personality, work ethic. I think those are such important pieces of the puzzle. And, the one person that had replaced the retiree, she worked out really well. Based on those things, but I just didn't. There was maybe too much separation, I think, between she and I, where it was like I was standing back more than I was comfortable with. As I was standing back as much as I wanted to. Like I wanted to be separate. But when things weren't, bookings weren't happening as much as I wanted, I couldn't. There was no feedback that I could really give because or questions even that I could hardly ask because I just was too out of the loop. And so
So you didn't know
we
why.
Yeah, I mean, I had only assumptions mostly and, without really any data, so I was kind of in the process of, like, trying to mentally reframe, like, what I thought the relationship should evolve to, and then the planner was like, "This isn't really working out," and so I was like, "Okay, that's fine." I mean, and it was very amicable, she's delightful, I would still love her to be involved in any capacity she wanted to be. She was a brand new planner, so it was I went from a veteran to a rookie,
Yeah.
and
Did you receive more bookings under your first planner?
yes. I
Okay,
mean, she
gotcha.
was like it was tricky though too because had raised the prices at the veteran planners urging right during the transition, so
Is
it
it
was
the
very
prices? Is it her kinda
yeah, it
yeah.
was impossible because it went from, like, 100% conversion to, like, 10% conversion. So,
Interesting. Wow.
yeah, yeah. So, I think it was probably a combination of
It's
things.
probably a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That is so
but
interesting.
yeah, but now I know, like, whatever happens, I know exactly the path that got to that outcome for now, and
Right.
for now, it's working well. I mean, it's kind of it keeps me in a I mean, it just keeps me in a more relevant mindset for, like, knowing how to move forward with things.
Yeah.
I'm not a planner, and I never will be. I just don't have the eye or the brain for it, but I am now
Like a
I'm
venue
involved with every
coordinator.
couple. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm talking to all the couples, meeting all the couples, which is before I never met any of them. I had no
Yeah.
idea. And I still, I still am like I said, not a planner, so it's like they can ask me questions, I can give them referrals, but I'm like, I don't know, this looks cool, but I don't know if that means anything.
Yeah.
And it's working out well. I don't have, the personality that I would have been looking for in the person that's doing the tours, not at all. So there's that I grapple with, knowing like there is a better person than I for sure. There's a better type of person than I to be doing the tours and things, but it's not like I don't have this gigantic venue with all these different sites and stuff. It's like I said, small but
Here it
exquisite.
is.
This is what I have to offer, and I will be 100% honest, transparent, and I will respond to the best of my abilities to any of your questions. But in the end, this is what it is, and so
Well, I feel like brides are going to be the most interested, I think, in the actual space. And then the person, I think, what they would value, or at least what I would value as a bride, is just communication. And to feel like I'm talking with somebody who, like you said, is responsive, is a good communicator. I mean, they don't have to have like the most bubbly personality, right? Because they're not like I'm not hiring them to officiate my
yeah,
wedding,
yeah, no,
you know?
so far
So,
no requests for that. Yeah, it, I think also just the personalities of couples that ultimately want to book. It's a more casual personality because we're not super fancy or luxury, and so I think that most of them can handle me.
you're
So,
just a small, cozy space.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like that. Okay, one question I had for you is if you could go back in time, like 3 or 4 years ago, and give yourself some advice, what advice would you give yourself?
Yeah, well, I definitely would change lots of things, but just generally, I think I would trust myself sooner, dive deeper in more quickly. I was really into like the renovation stuff because that's like what my experience is in. Was into the renovation stuff and didn't learn enough about operations or weddings. And now I'm still like the operations are. I'm still that's where I'm diving more deeply into, and I still don't know that much about weddings. So I
It's
think
interesting
learning more would be good.
you said to trust yourself quicker. Do you feel
Hmm.
like when you first came in, maybe I'm reading into that comment, but that when you first came in, you kind of had a little bit of imposter syndrome because you're like, I'm not in the wedding industry. I don't know. Let
Yeah,
me trust these other people. And then
yeah,
you kind of have an idea and you're like, well, let me just suppress that because I probably don't know what I'm talking about. And
Yes,
then like in
it's still there.
6 months, you're like, no, I still want to do that idea. And then you do it and it like, it's good, you know?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, the imposter syndrome is strong, but that's, I just taken a different like approach to it as opposed to like, I am an imposter because I don't know anything about weddings and therefore I need to bring in people that do. It's just like, I'm just honest with people. I don't know anything about, trends and things like that, but I can tell you everything you need to know about the venue and how it will function for your event. And so that's what
Well,
I
I
hope
think
people are
what you
looking for.
have that other people don't have is like you have a vested interest in this being like
Yeah, I
your
do.
building and your business. And so when you make decisions, you're coming from this place of like, this is your baby, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas anyone else is just like, they don't have as much, it's not theirs, you know what I mean? I just,
Yeah.
I feel like I've experienced that and I can relate to that. I've experienced in my own life where I'm like, I don't trust myself. I trust other people that like should know better. And then like later on, I'm like, no, my instinct was right, or I should have just gone with
Yeah.
myself first.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, I do. I love it. I love the place and I'm not a salesperson, but I will be honest about the feelings that I have about it and what it is. And so if that's what people want, it's fair. I'm like, do you want ketchup with your fries? Yes or no? And then hopefully the answer is yes. But in
yeah.
the end, it's ketchup.
How involved are you on the like the day-to-day parts of weddings? Like, are you usually on site for the whole wedding?
Oh, no, not at all.
Oh,
Never.
okay.
I have no involvement ever in any of that. I just hand off the codes for entry and that's it.
And so then
Nothing.
you're gone. You're like,
I'm
have
gone.
fun.
I'm there. I'm like,
Do you keep,
text me if there's an
yeah, do you, I was
emergency.
gonna
The
say,
plunger's
do you
here.
keep your phone like ringer
Yes.
on? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes. I mean, I have my wingman that's there that actually lives in the duplex next door for real
Oh,
like
okay,
urgent.
cool.
But luckily, knock on wood, where nothing. I
Have
mean, again, it's
you
like a simple space, so not
have
much
you ever
to.
gotten like a call or like anything like panicking, you need to save
Yeah.
the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Only one so far. Again, like knock on wood situation. It was like it was awful. I was literally sitting in there was an event. I was sitting in the parking lot of a funeral that I had just left, and I was just like ruined. It was one of my high school teachers had passed, and I was just like so
No.
upset. And the wedding planner called, and I'm like, "Hello,"
Oh, no,
And
that's the worst time. Holy
yeah,
smokes.
I was in Oregon City, and then it was in Corbett. It's in Corbett, so she's like, there's flooding happening,"
It
and
was
so what
flooding?
it was. Yes, and it was so lame what it ended up being because there's like water coming up through the flooring in the lower level, and it's simple. There's only so much plumbing, and it's like a concrete slab, and so it's like none of the walls are wet. Where is this coming from? So all we even knew to do at the time was like, I just brought a ton of towels, and I'm like, and the planners handled it. They were wonderful. It was Heartbeat Events, just to give them a shout out. They did so great at just making it a non-issue. But what it ended up being, which I didn't even know was a thing, the HVAC condensation like tub, apparently you're supposed to clean that every 6 months. And I had never cleaned it. So it was like the float was failing and the condensation was coming out from the HVAC slowly enough that you couldn't see it anywhere, but it
Oh,
was coming up.
interesting.
So it was like running along the concrete floor. And then there's like laminate wood flooring that when you stepped on it, it would just come up and you couldn't tell where it was coming from. So anyway, that is
Oh,
fixed, but it
interesting.
happened.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't like a huge flood. It was,
No, it was like you stepped on the planks and water was coming up through the planks. It
yeah.
was it was a
And
hot
this is
day, which
in
was contributed
the
to it.
basement area, the lower level.
Hmm. Yep.
And was the bride using that space?
Yeah. They did, I don't remember. I think they did their ceremony in the sanctuary upstairs, and then they had like their catering stuff in the lower level, and the bathrooms are there. But it's like a flow. So it's like the sanctuary, the downstairs, and the outside, like you walk through it. So they were coming in and out. And that was actually part of what was causing the problem, but I didn't know at the time is like the doors being open and the the HVAC system trying to contend with the exterior temperature was making it work harder, so more condensation. So yeah, they were just like, "Oh, sorry about that." But yeah, most other problems are like operator error. People sometimes struggle with putting a keypad number in the door, and I'm like, I'll just
Yeah.
unlock it for you.
Here's the
But
number
mostly, it's,
again.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So that's the only call you've gotten, like, day
Yeah.
of.
Yep. So far.
Cool. So where do you see yourself, like, what in the next 5 years? You said 4 to 6 weddings,
Yep.
maybe
I
another
mean,
planner, maybe not.
yeah, yes. I mean, it's all always in flex and like just whatever I'm ready to, I'm certainly not like steadfast in any of my plans. I know how little I know, and I'm trying to adapt and grow as things come. And I get excited about things. And like two babies that I'm trying to get out into the world are an elopement series,
Yeah,
which,
do you have their birthday parties at the Hummingbird Hall?
like my kids.
Yeah,
Or oh, yeah. Yes, they do. Yes, they're fun. A
it's
lot of work.
perfect.
But for the wedding stuff, like, I wanna do, like, quarterly or maybe more frequently if it's popular, kind of I've done a few, but just, like, Vegas style days, not necessarily Elvis, but maybe it would be Elvis. But just where it's, like, the venue set up for, like, an affordable way to get married beautifully with like wonderful pictures where they can have like all the kind of like high points of a wedding day, but in an hour. And then here's your pictures and you're done. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. And then another thing that I'm working on with a group of vendors that I'm very excited about is getting some packages going. So they would be like pop up wedding type things, personalized weddings that it's like you just pay and you walk in and everything's ready. So your
Yeah.
officiants or whatever you choose, is like pre-packaged and brought together by this core team of vendors that have worked together. So we all know what to expect and the same kind of like general offerings, but like a menu you can
Right.
order off of and then have this
Yeah.
glorious, beautiful product at the end.
I remember you saying that you're working on building that all-inclusive package. I think
hmm
that's a great idea. I don't
Yeah.
think that I have seen that yet before.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I think some venues do it, and venues with food service and stuff. I think there's like more of that, but for us, it'll be like the idea is that it'll be quite curated. Depending on the level, it's not going to be like this huge number of levels, probably like three, and but it'll be fully all inclusive, just ready to go.
so basically the idea is it's like for the bride that just doesn't want to have so much work to do, and maybe she doesn't want to
Mhm.
pay for a whole planner, but she can just kind of buy this like pre-made package, maybe sub in and out 1 or 2 menu items for what she likes, and then she gets her whole wedding and she's done.
Yeah, exactly, and really, even the planner, you, it, the planner would be involved, but a lot of it would just have been pre-planned, like, because it would be like a template, but you would
Right.
kind of get like the best of all of the pieces just without you having to like source them. And yeah, that's the
Yeah.
idea.
I think that's amazing. I think that's such a great idea. How far along are you in that process of building that package?
Pretty early in it still. We have like most of the vendors that we intended. So we being me and a planner who's really like at the helm. I mean, we're co-captaining the project, but most of the vendors that we think makes sense to have, we have, and we're supposed to all meet the day after tomorrow. We'll see though. We haven't really got everybody's information yet, so or everybody's buy-in on the day after tomorrow thing. So we'll see, but, I mean, to me, I'm like, "Let's do this yesterday," you know? So,
Yeah.
hopefully it'll come together really quickly so we can start just, like, throwing it into the world and hopefully, people love it.
Yeah. Well, maybe dueling pianos can be one of those menu items on
1,000%.
there.
No, yeah, absolutely, I would love for you guys to be, because we don't have, like, a musical aspect right now, and I think that would be so fun.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it's been a joy to talk to you. Your website is hummingbirdhall.com, right?
The Hummingbird Hall.
The hummingbirdhall.com. And your Instagram, do you want to leave any links or
I mean,
tags?
sure. They're all the Hummingbird Hall.
It's all wherever they look
Yeah.
for you, it's the Hummingbird Hall.
Yep.
Wonderful. Awesome. And anyone listening should definitely go check out her gallery and look at all the pictures of the beautiful space. So
Yeah, please do.
yeah, it's been wonderful. Thank you for being on Eventful Endeavors. And I'm sure we'll keep talking soon.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Eventful Endeavors, Secrets to Crafting the Perfect Celebration. We hope to have left you with some actionable ideas for your own event. If you like the show, please subscribe and definitely leave us a review. We read every comment. So until next time, happy planning and see you soon on Eventful Endeavors.